Okay, hello, I am Dr. Tekking101 here. I will be your therapist. Alright, so what is your name again? Shishoki Jizo, and that's spelled with a G or... J, right, okay. Alright, well, it seems here that you have some problems with your master, you're calling him. I'm curious as to exactly what your relationship is, so if you can elaborate, please. Okay, so I see. You are a sword spirit, and your master is the one that controls you, and he uses you to fight on his behalf. Now, I think right there, that shows some inadequacy issues with him. So I think you need to talk to him about that. Oh, it's not just about fighting. He also forcibly modifies you to experiment for his own needs, which usually involve changing your appearance in multiple different forms, and what was that about an explosive? Planting explosives inside of you in case you do not cooperate. Huh. Well, you see, the best way I can describe for helping you here is giving you a prescription for some wonderful pills that will make your life, honestly, not great, but a lot more tolerable than you are right now. I really feel sorry for you, poor, pathetic creature. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach chapter number 639, titled Baby Hold Ya Hand 2. Now, the weird thing about that is that Kubo's breaking, tradition. Normally, whenever he does the sequentially numbered chapter titles, he does them, sequentially, like in a row. But no, I think he had to throw in that seething madness as the height of comedy thing in the last chapter. So, I mean, he's breaking the system, man. It's freaking me out, man. Don't know where he's going with this, man. Chapter begins with Mayori, who is still reeling from the surgery he performed on his arm last chapter. Remember, Pernida eventually did end up invading some of Mayori's nerves, causing him to break one of his fingers. So Mayori did that really quick makeshift surgery with his right arm on his left arm. It begins to twitch and shake, and it's probably not responding to him as much as he would like it to be. And Mayori states that this is the reason because it's been a very long time since he's performed a one-arm operation, so he's gotten kind of rusty. Yes, I believe the last time Mayori was performing operations on his arm, it was when he installed that rocket booster wire kind of deal. That didn't go over too well either, if I recall. Okay, let me just see if I can get the hydraulics set, and there we go! A fully operational rocket-powered arm. Now all I have to do is take it for a test drive, and... okay, that's good. We're going good so far. Just a little bit more, and... oh god, no, okay, hold on, no, too much, oh god, it ripped it off. Okay, Nemu, please bring the jaws of life. For what reason, Mayori-sama? Just get the jaws of life, Nemu! After expressing concern over his arm, though, Pernida responds by stating, "Oh, it doesn't sound like you're as confident as you were before." So its diction has definitely improved, and we're going to find out a reason for that later in the chapter, but just keep that in mind, that Pernida's speech is much more eloquent now than it was previously. It started off not being able to speak at all except for just various grunts and, moans, and then it was able to talk kind of like distorted, kind of not like understanding, like left arm, I don't understand, but then now it seems to be talking as if it's like a normal human being, so yeah, just keep that in mind for now. Anyway, Mayori just looks over at the thing and just like, oh, I'm not as confident. Is that how you interpret this? How about I shake it off then? By shaking your hand! Oh god, even now I'm doing the puns. Whatever, I'm gonna kill you. So yeah, remember that pinky that Mayori blasted off the main left arm last chapter and landed in front of him, and that's the reason he got infected to begin with? Well, that just begins to sprout the other 3 remaining fingers as well as the thumb, so it pretty much just reproduces itself. So now there's 2 left arms, and it begins to immediately charge at Mayori. Mayori responds by, I guess, just tossing an explosive directly into its freaking face, hand, palm, eye, hole, I don't freaking know. Well, anyway, it gets blasted backwards, and Mayuri realizes, oh, well, you're able to recover from even a torn-off digit. Well, I guess I clearly can't take you in this case, it's out of the question. Which, I don't know why he would have been so surprised by that, because he's seen the ability to, you know, increase in size. I mean, originally, Pernida was able to conceal itself and just, like, underneath a hood. Now, obviously, that giant-ass left arm wouldn't be able to hide in that hood, so it was able to expand in size, and then after that, it was able to, it looked like, increase its muscles, you know, to expand its size and its left arm completely, you know, from wrist downwards. So it shouldn't really come as any surprise to Mayori that it's able to heal itself at rapid succession, or, you know, expands its size. Pernida responds to this by simply tearing off its ring finger. Okay, to which blood begins to then pour into its eyes, and it, you know, it states that, ah, blood is in my eyes, it hurts, it hurts. So what, the left arm is turning into a masochist now? We already have Mayori for this, Kubo. We don't need two characters in this series that get off on inflicting pain on themselves, okay? The ring finger that the hand begins to rip off, of course, begins to multiply as well, to which Mayuri just stares at it and states that, I recall reading about this in my youth. Oh, please, I don't want to know about Mayuri's youth. I really love the guy, but there's just some stories that never need to be told. It's not that creepy. We get a flashback to Mayori. He has the same appearance as he did in Turn Back the Pendulum, so I'm assuming this was after Uehara broke him out of the Maggot's Nest, and he was working as the third seat for the 12th Division, and he was just, like, doing just regular research in the library. Anyway, he's reading a book that basically states that the right arm of the Soul King represents stillness, and the left hand governs progress. Now, this is the interesting point here, where we see that the left arm Pernida is able to speak now. If it indicates progress, it would make more sense that, you know, it starts off, you know, not being able to speak and then slowly gains that ability throughout the battle. Also, the ability for it to constantly reproduce and you know, multiply itself and increase its size, that makes sense as well. And also referring to the right arm of the Soul King, which means stillness, that calls back to not just the fact that it didn't really cure Mayori's illness, I mean, it didn't really cure Ukitaki's lung disease, it just kind of kept it at bay. It kept it at like a certain state, and it didn't progress any further. Also referring to the fact that the right arm apparently was, you know, not mobile. It wasn't a thing that just moved around the Seirete. It was something that was like in this one particular area, like a statue that the people of Rokongai just worshipped, you know, and once again, they used it to try to maintain the Soul King's life, or maintain it or keep it still where it currently is. So that would, you know, make sense for the differences between the different arms, and I'm sure we're going to get more information on exactly, you know, what the different arms do and what their jobs are. Although I think this pretty much confirms, maybe not necessarily, but to me anyway, that we're not really going to touch upon the legs at all. Because, I mean, I mean, I don't know who wrote this book. I mean, I would like to know that. Like, who wrote this fucking book? Apparently, the right and left arms of the Soul King were things that they're just recently discovering. Like, when they found out, oh, the right arm of the Soul King, shit, you actually exist. Oh, there's a left arm of the Soul King, shit, you exist too. These are things that people didn't really understand or really, like, believe in up to this point. I would like to know, like, did freaking, you know, did the Soul King create this book? Was it one of the Zero Squad members? Was it Shutara? Was it Yama? I don't know. Anyway, he finds it out, and he states that even though he doesn't really believe in information in books all the times until he witnesses with its own eyes, he's very intrigued by the fact that how marvelous this fight turned out, how was he able to basically confirm all this stuff previously. So we get the title page, to which we see that Pernida now has split itself into three arms, or bodies, I guess would be the proper way. We have the original main arm that is still missing the, oh shit, I don't know. It looked like it was the ring finger at first, but now it looks like it's missing its middle finger and its pinky. Whatever. And then we have the one that sprouted from the pinky that Mayori threw the explosive at, and that one's kind of just reeling backwards. And then we have the third one that was spawned just from tearing off, I guess, its middle finger in the last few panels. The one you can tell that it's the difference between the main ones and the replicas is that the main one still has the cloak around its wrist, the one that it was originally supposed to be Pernida, you know, the star-crossed cloak from the Stern Ritter. That's how you can tell. So we get the title page, to which Mayori unsheaths his Zanpakuto Ashisogi Jizo, and he gets ready for some serious battle. Here we go. I've been waiting for this for a while now. It's been, I think, since, wasn't it like chapter, it was either, I think it was like chapter 300, 301, the last time he used his Bankai. It was against Sea Isle, so that's a good over 300 chapters. But here we go. Bankai! Yumachika begins to freak the fuck out because he realizes how bad news Ashisoki Jizo is, Konjiki Ashisoki Jizo is, and he states that it's such a huge thing, it'll probably crush them with the size, or even if it doesn't manage that, it's going to end up poisoning them. And that's when I start realizing that this was the first time that Mayori is using his Bankai in the presence of other members of the Gotei, aside from Nemu, of course. So, I mean, well, no, he used it against Ciel and Renji was there, but Renji was kind of already knocked out of that fight to begin with. He had some organs crushed, so you can give Renji some, you know, mulligans for not freaking out over the, you know, appearance of it, but Yumachika just really understands just how fucking dangerous this thing is, and he's like, we gotta get Kenpachi, we gotta haul ass out of here. Which is odd, considering that this is one time they're actually paying attention to Kenpachi. I mean, remember back when Kenpachi got the shit electrocuted out of him by Candace and he was sitting in that freaking hole, and then all hell began to break loose around that hole. Like, we had, you know, Ichigo fighting against all the other Sternritter clique, and then, like, Basby and Robert Akutron and Nanana showed up all around that area, and they were attacking, and then the Shinigami showed up. They were all having this battle, you know, right next to Kenpachi, who was lying in a crater, and no one decided to help him up. But now, apparently, they paid attention to him now. But anyway, Mayori states that poisoning to death is such a far too extravagant for this situation because, as you could probably figure, because Mayori is the guy who he is and he constantly modifies his Zanpakuto, you could also probably see that his Shikai is different as well. You know, whenever he went into Shikai in the Soul Society arc and compared to now, it's clearly a different thing. It's more like ethereal, like when he used it against Toshiro back when he was a zombie. You know, it was obviously not a physical construct. It was more or less like a ghostly image of Ashisoki Jizo. But when he activated his Bankai, yes, it has changed as well. Now, at long last, from all the knowledge I've collected, it's time to give birth. Two phrases that up until this point in my life I never thought I would hear. The first one, Tekking, you are a really boring person. And the second one is, Mayuri Kuratsuchi is pregnant. Prove me wrong, Kubo. Prove me wrong. But of course, he's not actually referring to giving birth. He's referring to the activation of his new Bankai. Bankai! Konjiki Ashisoki Jizo, or Golden Ashisoki Jizo, demon wound wrapped in disease.
Oh, look at the little baby. And now look at the big baby. Wow.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so... Damn, okay. So a few people on my fan page, first off, were saying, holy shit, this is way more disgusting than Pepe in his Volt standing. Okay, now listen, I got to tell you something right now. That is not the case, and I'll tell you why. All right, Pepe in his Volt standing, right here. There's two major differences between that. I know it's a very large, obese figure wearing a diaper, but there's some key differences here, okay? The first one is that Pepe is a grown-ass man, and he was drawn to look like a grown-ass man. You know, he had the beard and everything, you know, so that's what makes it more disgusting when he just turns out to be wearing a diaper all of a fucking sudden. All right, and the second, you know, clearly this is, I mean, it's a very big baby, but it's still drawn to look like a baby, you know, the head's shape and the big eyes, you know, it's still very drawn not to look like a grown adult. And the second thing is, Pepe was aware that he was a grown-ass adult, and he still did all that freaky, you know, the way he acted and the tongue shit. You know, he knew what he was fucking doing. This is just a poor victim of Mayori's experimentation, you know. It has, like, the intelligence equivalent to an infant. Alright, so I'm not freaked out by this so much as that. I'm freaked out by what the fuck Mayori does in his spare time just working on his Zanpakuto and modifying it, but yeah. Okay, Mr. Kuratsuchi, you were recommended to me by your Zanpakuto spirit, Mr. Jizo, and I feel like a lot of problems in Mr. Jizo's life stem from your control and manipulation of him, so I would like for you to explain exactly why you seem to be obsessed with modifying and experimentation and vivisection. It doesn't seem natural. Could you please explain? Ah, yes. Well, I think it all began when I was just a little tyke. Must have been around 5 years old. My dad bought me a puppy, and you see I love that puppy something fierce. So, of course, I naturally took an X-Acto knife and started to... There is no God. And the second thing is, what the hell with the lamps on its head? Like, I don't know what the purpose of that is for. Like, are they just, like, caution lights, you know, like, wide load coming through? But, yeah, I don't get it. Maybe it has something to do because, you know, he had the light armor and maybe, like, oh, the light from the shadows of the Quincy's. But, no, I think it's just for aesthetics. Anyway, yeah, so, appearance-wise, comparing to the original Konjiki Ashisoki Jizo, which is basically just, like, a caterpillar with a baby's head. I remember how weird that is just explaining that to you, but no, it is now a giant-ass baby with, wearing a, I don't want to say it's a diaper, because it really doesn't look like one, although I will say Mayori is dangerously close to the naughty areas there. It's still a child, alright? So you stay away from it, alright? Okay, so anyway, the Yumachika and Ikaku all just kind of glance back. They're carrying Kenpachi, and they're just, like, curious as what the fuck happened to Mayori's Bankai, because it's so different from what it originally appeared by. And Mayori states, like, oh, I've reconfigured or modified my Bankai by using this new instrument, by doing the Demon Wound Wrap and Disease. Basically now, whatever information that Mayori sends to Ashisoki Jizo while in battle will alter it and will be allowed to give birth to other Ashisoki Jizos, and these other Ashisoki Jizos that it gives birth to will have specific abilities that relate to the abilities that he collected. You know, I have an interesting theory about this. Wouldn't it be interesting if the original form of Ashisoki Jizo is something that we never saw in this world? Like, you know, it's never something that, like, the original form we saw back when he fought against Uryu, that was already heavily modified, because I can't imagine like, his original sword might have been really simple. His original sword might have just been, like, you know, emits poison, or stabs people, imports poison, but now it has all these other kinds of poisons, and maybe even the original Bankai we saw might have not have been the original. It might have been, like, something else. So, yeah. But anyway, because Mayori gathered all this information from Pernida throughout the battle, I guess through its sword or whatever, Mayori activates the new ability of his Bankai, which makes the giant-ass baby cry out in pain as a caterpillar Ashisoki Jizo, looks like a fucking alien, rips right out of its stomach via C-section. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Okay. We're good. And for those of you that are curious, Pepe is still disgusting because I puked for a good solid hour, you know, when that happened. So that was only once. We could deal with that. Ugh. Yeah, the newly born Ashisoki Jizo is now completely implemented with nerve endings on its skin, which, of course, makes every single instant that it's alive complete and utter misery, because even touching the air would be enough to send a horrible amount of pain through its body, but Mayuri don't give a shit about that, of course. That's neither here nor there. The main point here is that this new Ashisoki Jizo has 70,000 layers of skin, each one incorporating these nerve endings. So whenever Pernida tries to activate its nerve power and tries to hijack this new Ashisoki Jizo, the skin layer that it's trying to absorb just sheds, revealing the other skin layer, and everything's cool. I mean, it's still going to be massively painful for the new Ashisoki Jizo, but it's still not going to be able to be affected by its power at all, to which it just immediately grabs the three arms of Pernida and begins to eat them whole. I am having massive amounts of deja vu right now. Mayori states that it is actually technically possible for Pernida to win and defeat the new Ashisoki Jizo. All it has to do is invade all 70,000 layers of skin before it eventually gets devoured. However, that doesn't seem to be the case. As the end of the chapter, Mayori strikes one of his "I win, bitches!" face as Pernida is swallowed whole like a piece of spaghetti. And then we just cut over to see Nemu from standing from afar, just kind of glancing over the fight with her normal melancholic expression on her face, and it's still freaking me out how she keeps doing that, how she just keeps kind of looking over at Mayori, how she has this kind of weird feeling that some shit's gonna go down, that he's not gonna last much longer. You're freaking me out, chick. Calm down. I don't know, maybe she's just a little bit more distraught over, you know, what happened last time, you know, with Sea Isle. Oh, I have such a bad feeling about this. What's wrong, Nemu? I've clearly won the fight. Oh, no, it's just that, you know, last time this happened, you know, your Bankai eating somebody, I ended up getting pregnant, giving birth, and then dying, all in a matter of, like, a minute. So I'm a little, I'm not feeling this, Mayuri-san. I'm not feeling this. So that's the end of the chapter, and here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that next chapter is not going to be good for Mayori. Because here's the thing. He's pretty much, I don't want to say this, but it might be very much the case that he's all out of tricks now. I was waiting to see for his Bankai, I was waiting to see that, but this follows the same exact formula, you know, a lot of other times when characters die. You know, we have one chapter where they just dominate, one chapter where they unlock some new awesome ability, and it's like, they win. And then the next chapter, all downhill from there. And that one, all it takes for me to know that is that scene at the end with Nemu looking on, and it's just like, shit's gonna go down. It's gonna be like, Pernida's just gonna rip itself out of the freaking Ashisoki Jizo, destroy its Bankai, grab Mayori, and just rip him apart, like drawn and quartered. Like, it's not gonna be well, because I can't say, I mean, he might still have a couple more tricks up his sleeve, but come on, I mean, he's done a lot of shit so far. I mean, he's shown off a lot of stuff he can do. I don't know how much more shit he's gonna have. You know, there's only so many pockets that he can pull his experiments out of, okay? He's gonna run out of pockets eventually. You know, he did all the different explosions. He did that reserving liquid. He had the Hirinkyaku jet boots. He had, yes, I wear shorts in here in the summer. It's very hot. And now he did his Shikai abilities, his Bankai abilities. I don't know what else there really is for him to do. But yeah, so I hope it doesn't go that way, but, you know, I'm gearing up for it, guys. You better get ready. Okay, I think the next chapter, shit's gonna go downhill. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. What'd you think of the chapter? Tekking101 signing out. Later, guys. Oh, shit. Fuck. Alright, this is gonna be an awkward conversation. Okay. Hi. Yeah, move my car.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
It'll probably be a little bit. We'll turn around. It's certainly really starting.
Yeah, I noticed. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Answers a door. They're trimming my tree today because my tree is pretty big and it's over the power lines. So, answering the door, he sees my wigs fall down, my U-Haul Bach wig, and then he sees me wearing a suit and tie, wearing shorts. Just another day. Just another day. He took it pretty well.